my friends, and welcome to the annual Fall Joann Stitch-Along with Yarnspirations. I'm your host, Marley Bird, and in this first video of 4, we will learn to make the Bernat Texture in Stripes Knit Cocoon Cardigan. This pattern is made with a brand new yarn called Bernat Fluffy. You guys, this yarn is incredibly soft. You're going to love it. In this video series, I will be using the very vibrant colors that you see right here, but you could use any 3 colors you wish for your own cardigan. To get started, go ahead and grab your yarn, needles, and pattern, and we will jump in with the very first mosaic stitch pattern. And here we go. The first panel of this cardigan is made up using the mosaic check pattern, and you will use your main color and your color A. Let's go ahead and using the long tail cast on, we want to cast on the total number of stitches listed in the pattern for the size you are making. For the long tail cast on, you want to make sure you have a tail that is long enough to accommodate the number of stitches you will be casting on. Go ahead and place a slip knot directly onto your needle. Now, the tail of your yarn, you're going to wrap it around your thumb. The working yarn that's attached to the ball of yarn, wrap that around your finger. And you're going to grasp both just like this, like a slingshot. We're going to take our knitting needle and starting down here at the base of our thumb, we're going to go up our thumb and grab that yarn. Swivel around to the tip of our finger, go down our finger and grab that yarn. Now you have a little window that you've created right here with your thumb. I want you to take this needle and we're going to swing it right through that window. Now let the yarn fall off your thumb, give the tails a pull, and you've just created a stitch. We now have 2 stitches. Adjust your hand so that the yarn is in the position like a slingshot again, and repeat. Base of the thumb, go up your thumb, tip of your finger, go down your finger. You have this window, swing through the window and off the thumb. Now you have another stitch cast on. Up the thumb, down the finger, through the window, off the thumb. Up the thumb, down the finger, through the window, off the thumb. You will repeat this for the total number of stitches you need for the size you're making. For this video, I will only be working across 12 stitches, but the pattern will remain the same. You go ahead, turn your work, and place your needle into your left hand. We want to go ahead and knit all of these stitches for the very first row, and this first row is a right side row. Now with the fluffy yarn here, you do want to make sure that you don't accidentally grab 2 stitches. So pull that yarn close up to the tip of your needle, insert your right hand needle, yarn over, pull through and off. And then just repeat that all the way down the row. Simply knit each of the stitches. When you get to the end of the row, we want to turn our work, so you will place the needle with all the stitches on it into your left hand, turn your work, and for this row, we want to purl all the way back. So just like before, you want to go ahead and make sure you work into each stitch individually. Make sure your yarn is in front, so that way when you go into the stitch as if to purl, your yarn is up front here waiting for you, and you will purl. And just purl each stitch all the way to the end. At the end of row 2, you will turn your work, and it's at this point we want to introduce our color A. So grab your color A, bring it over, leave a nice long tail so that way we can weave that in later, and do not cut your main color, just leave it hanging out there. Now we want to go ahead and work row 3 using our color A. So you will see we will knit 3 to begin with. So knit 1, knit 2, knit 3. Now we're going to slip 2 stitches as if to purl with our yarn in back. So we're going to go into 1 stitch as if to purl and slip it off, and go into the 2nd stitch as if to purl and slip it off because it said slip 2 as if to purl with our yarn in back. You want to be careful as we go on to this next stitch and knit it. Do not pull on this float right here, don't pull it really tight. Otherwise, your stitches are going to be really, really too dense as you go from this stitch to that stitch, okay? So make sure that you have a little bit of a give right there, and your stitches are spaced out just as they would be if they were just like normal knitting. So we knit 2 stitches, and then you would go ahead and repeat. So we slip 1 as if to purl, slip 2 as if to purl, our yarn is in back, and you would go ahead and knit 2 stitches. And you repeat that all the way down the row to the last stitch, and you will knit 1. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like. You now will turn your work. You still will be using your color A, okay, because it's the only one down here waiting for you, right? So with color A still in use, you will knit 3, so knit 1, 2, and 3. And this time we're going to slip 2 with yarn in front. We will do it with yarn in front because I'm looking at the wrong side of my work. So I want to make sure my float is over here. So I bring my yarn forward, slip as if to purl, slip as if to purl. And then I'm going to knit the next 2 stitches. So I put my yarn back, I knit 2 stitches, knit 1, knit 2, bring my yarn forward, slip as if to purl, slip as if to purl, bring my yarn back, and knit 2 stitches. And you repeat that all the way down to the last stitch where you will knit 1. Okay? So on the back of your work, you can see we have these 2 floats. And if I turn my work around, which is the right side of my work, you can see I don't have the floats over here. I just have this nice blue coming up from 2 rows below. It's at this point I will drop my color A and I will pick up my main color. And on row 5, I will just knit with my main color. So I knit all of the stitches. At the end of row 5, I turn my work, and row 6, I'm going to purl. Easy enough. I don't have to worry about any slipping of stitches or whatnot, so I just purl all of my stitches. And you'll notice, because we are not slipping our stitches, all of our stitches are the same color on our needle. At the end of row 6, you turn your work, and you will begin row 7. And row 7 is where we will drop our main color again, and we pick up our color A, okay? So I'm going to work the next 2 rows with my color A. And what you will notice is we will be offsetting our yellow blips here, so that way they are stacked now on top of where our slip stitches were prior, okay? So for row 7, with color A, we knit 1. Now I slip as if to purl with yarn and back, slip as if to purl with yarn and back, then I knit 2, slip as if to purl with yarn and back, slip as if to purl with yarn and back, knit 2, slip as if to purl with yarn and back, slip as if to purl with yarn and back, and knit 1. Okay? Can you see how we begin and end with the same color we're using, right? That's how we're going to move our colors up. But now we have offset our yellow blips. So when I turn my work and I work row 8, you will see that we will be knitting in all of our yellow stitches and we will be slipping all of our blue stitches, okay? So I will knit 1, slip with yarn in front, slip with yarn in front, right? Because this is in front, means it's in front of my work. Then I bring my yarn back to the back and I knit 2. Bring my yarn forward, slip, slip. Bring my yarn back to the back, knit 2. Forward, slip, slip, back, and I finish with my knit 1. For you, you just continue all the way down until you get to that last stitch. On the back of our work, it looks a little something like this, but when we turn our work around, we get this really beautiful, like my cord's getting in the way. This very beautiful mosaic stitch pattern happening. And if you're doing it correctly, it should feel like it has a little bit of give in the fabric. It should not be too tight, and you should not see any of your floats on the right side of your work. It should look just this way. Pretty easy, right? Okay, you will continue working rows 1 through 8 until this panel measures the distance listed in the pattern for the size you are making. It's at that point you will go ahead and break off your color A, but leave your main color attached. You will continue on to the next portion next week or in the next panel with your main color, and then we'll introduce color B.
You and I till the end.
I am so excited to see what colors all of you choose out there. So as you're working on this panel, be sure to snap a picture and share with us on social media. That way we can smash your like button. All right, everybody, that's it for week 1. Go ahead and finish your panel, and I'll see you right here next week for video 2 of the Fall Joann Stitch-Along with Yarnspirations. I'm Marley Bird, and I'll see you again soon. Bye, guys.
Can pick you up when your head